Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Getting the weekend started. And you probably already know, you've probably known for a little while now. It was announced pretty much right after the game ended yesterday. We have ourselves a starter at quarterback for our week one game against Denver. Not within an hour of that game ending last night, the final preseason game, Pete Carroll said in no uncertain terms that Geno Smith is your starter for September 12th against the Denver Broncos. This was a few days after he said that we may be taking this all the way up to the days before the game. So clearly he saw something pretty definitive in that preseason game, and I think we all know what it was. So Drew Lock will start as a backup. I'm pretty sure he's going to make the team. Some people were asking, is Drew Lock going to get cut? Could he end up being released entirely? And I don't see it. I do think that Drew Lock will get an opportunity to play meaningful football at some point this season. But for at least one game, Geno is your guy. And my quick thoughts on that are, of course, I'm not in love with it. There's nothing to love about having Geno Smith be your starting quarterback. But it's fair. It's the right thing to do given how this preseason played out, given how this process played out. You have to win the job. Drew Lock was the newcomer. Geno had been here for a while. Geno had a head start, understandably so. So Drew Lock had to come in here and win the job, and he didn't. Too many turnovers. Not all of them are his fault, but Geno avoided turnovers the whole preseason. Now, some people are going to say because he never takes a risk, but that's what Carroll values. He doesn't want to turn the ball over, and Drew was turning it over like it's free. So at the end of the day, Locke couldn't do the things that he needed to do to impress the person who ultimately matters more than anyone else when it comes to personnel decisions on this team. And Geno, as much as he is an underwhelming, mediocre, forgettable quarterback, did do those things. So we'll see how long this lasts, but we now have a definitive answer. Geno is the starter against Denver, unless he gets hurt, unless Goodell decides, hey, now's a great time to swing in here and hand down my suspension for his DUI back in, I think it was January or February. Unlikely. So, yep, we have your guy. That's the long and short of it. Now, how is this going to work? Let's talk about that for a second here. This season, having success with Geno is going to come down to our ability to stay on schedule. Geno Smith, I know it wasn't a great preseason, but Geno can very credibly, and I know this sounds like I'm making excuses for him. Believe me, none of this is to say that I think Geno Smith is good. I don't think he's good. I think that he earned the job by playing better over the course of this preseason. I think that he played football in the way that the head coach wants a quarterback to play football, more so than the other guys. So I understand it. I'm okay with it. But Geno, you got to stay on schedule with him. You look at this preseason where you say, okay, Geno played what? He played a grand total of 4 quarters and a drive, and the team scored, what was it, 13 points? And you're like, that's not very good. And it's not. It's not going to win you very many games in the NFL. But Geno can very credibly point to receivers and offensive linemen as a big reason why things broke that way. And he can point to himself as well. He absolutely needs to be better in the pocket, needs to have stronger pocket presence, needs to not panic in obvious passing situations. There are some things that he needs to do. I'm not denying any of that. But I think it is fair to say that receivers made his job a lot harder than it needed to be. I'd say in the 4 quarters and 1 drive that Geno was in, we may have had, wow, probably I would say 8 dropped passes, maybe 9. So that's going to change, right? Because we know that Metcalf and Lockett, They don't drop as many passes as some of these guys do. I know people get on Metcalf for dropping passes sometimes, and he does. But he's got much better hands than what guys like Derek Young and Bo Melton and just Freddie Swain, what they showed in the preseason. Yeah, it's a lot better on that side of things. So a lot of those drops are going to go away once he gets to play with the starting receivers. By the time the regular season gets here, we're probably looking at Metcalf, Lockett, and Eskridge as your three wide receivers. The other guys are not going to get on the field that much until there's a reason for them to. And the offensive line. We had many good plays taken away by penalties on the offensive line. This last game, great example. We run the ball down to the 1, bring it back, and it kills the drive. So if we can stay on schedule, limit the drops, limit the offensive penalties, Geno can be okay. Where Geno gets in trouble is when, oh, it's 1st and 20, or oh, it's 2nd and 18, or it's 3rd and 14. Good luck. He's not going to convert those a lot. That's not really something you want Geno Smith to be doing. When we end up in those situations, I look for a lot of give-up plays to get a couple of yards so you can kick a shorter field goal, plays just designed to run a play so you can punt. You're going to see a lot of that. But if we can stay on schedule and we can give Geno some support, he can be okay. Now, when I say okay, okay is not good. Geno is not good. I'm not going to convince anybody that he is. But get the drops out of the way, get the penalties out, and he can at least drive the bus. I'll give him that. It's not much. Everything I just said about Geno applies to probably 50 to 60 quarterbacks you could get in the NFL. But this is the guy that we have. He's not a great leader. He doesn't have any over-the-top plus attributes. But he's serviceable. And for the moment, at least, we can say he is protecting the football. He played 3.5 games last year, had 2 turnovers, one of them completely not his fault. And in this preseason, he played slightly more than a game's worth of snaps and no turnovers. So that's valuable. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. And it's not like he won this job through the merit of his spectacular play. But in the interest of everything being fair and everybody getting the opportunities that they deserve, and everybody being on an even playing field in a competition, Geno did better. He did. Now, you can say that Drew Lock got unlucky with COVID. He did. You can say that Drew Lock is spending a lot of time with these receivers who can't catch. You're right. But on that count, so is Geno, by the way. So, at the end of the day, I can't argue with it. Geno deserves this. Geno deserves this opportunity. That doesn't make him good. That doesn't make him the long-term solution here. That makes him the guy who's going to be there for now. And one last thing on all this. Don't waste your energy getting upset about this. Neither of these quarterbacks are good. Neither of these quarterbacks should be starting past this season. Neither of these guys are going to do much of anything in the positive. Worry about other things. It's not worth your tears for Drew Lock to not win this job, even though he's more interesting. All right, I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you think. I'm going to do a post-game stream later today at some point. I know I streamed the whole game yesterday, which, by the way, went really well. So thank you to everybody who showed up and made that possible. I am going to do like a post-game stream for an hour for people who missed it so we can talk about it. We can talk about the Geno news, obviously. A lot of people are going to want to talk about that. Not that anybody's surprised with how yesterday's game went. I'm going to be on Twitch playing Soul Hackers 2 for a good chunk of the day as well. We are about 6 hours in now. We're going to keep going deeper. And I hope to see you guys there. And if I don't, then I'll see you next time there's a video. We are going to start to see some cuts. We are going to start to see some news. Things are going to start to get a little spicy around here. But for now, we can rest our heads knowing that Geno Smith is the starter. With the way these these 3 preseason games have gone, I don't think it's going to surprise anybody. It's going to disappoint some people, but even accounting for all the stuff that Drew had to put up with. It's fair. And again, Drew's going to get his chance at some point. And again, neither of these guys are very good, so don't worry about it. Okay, I'll see you guys later today. Go Hawks.